Welcome to the first episode.
This is the first episode of Dave and Janie.
Janie and Dave.
Janie and Dave.
Dave and Janie, Janie and Dave. So we decided I have YouTube that go up weekly, just kind of vlog style. And I figured it would also be fun to do a sit down video with Dave, more or less podcast style. Well, I guess this is a podcast.
This is a podcast. Yeah.
So you could hear more from him. So I think starting off, we should get the basics out of the way. This is going to be a Q&A, get to know us, because I get so many of the same questions that I feel like no one even realizes, like simple things about us. And then I ask some questions on my Instagram.
Yeah.
And so I will then do your questions that you sent us. So if you ever want to ask us anything, send it to my Instagram, Janie Ippolito, just send me a message and I'm going to keep all of those. But are you ready?
I'm ready, yeah.
Okay, so first let's start off with the basics. How old are you?
I'm 37 years old.
And I am 35.
35.
Now let's cover the family dynamic, because this is the one that
gets the most questions.
We are a blended family.
Yeah.
Peter, who is 12, about to be 13, is my biological son. Then Dave, when I met him, had Nico and Luca, Nico is 11, Luca is 9.
Yep. And
then we got married and had Ava together, who Ava is literally turning 4 this week. So she's
on Thursday.
Pretty much 4. Now, the other main question we always get asked, do you know what it is?
Where did we meet? Or how did we meet? How did we meet?
So there's 2 sides to that story.
There's one side to that story.
2 sides.
And I keep telling that one side, but for some reason, it keeps changing.
So technically, we met at our kids' daycare.
Yeah. So I was previously married, and we all had our kids at the same daycare. So I was working night shift at my other job, and I would go and drop the kids off at school every morning. And then I would see her. She would open the door for me, and I was kind of
a jerk.
I wasn't a jerk. I was like a zombie because I had come off of midnight. So it's not like I was looking to be mean. I just
never acknowledged me, never said thank you. I would be there with in sweats, rolled out of bed with my son, his backpack. And then I see this guy walking in with his 2 kids. So I'd be holding the door open for him.
And Luca was real young at that point. So
what?
Luca was real young.
He was a baby.
Yeah,
he was I think he was half the time he was still in the car seat carrier.
Yeah, it's possible.
And he just never said thank you or anything. And I was just like, oh, cool. That's nice. And then fast forward to one night, I am on a date at a local, I was just broken up with.
Yeah.
And then it was my first date since my breakup, and I was at a local bar, and I definitely had one too many, because it turned out that my ex-boyfriend also came to that same bar that night. And I just was nervous on my date, so I overdid it. And I see Dave there in a corner with a group of his friends.
Yeah, I was there with a bunch of friends, actually.
And I just went up to him and I was just like, I know you.
Yeah, it's exactly how she said it too. She's like, I know you. I know you.
And I don't remember you saying anything back to me.
Well, that's not surprising. At that point in your life, that's not surprising.
It was a low period in my life.
Yeah.
It was one of those times where I just was so unhappy with myself. I was just
yeah.
I didn't know what I wanted to do, where I wanted to be. I was just I was unhappy with myself, not even my relationship status. And I overconsumed. And the poor guy I was on a date with, who is now one of both of our good friends.
A very good friend of ours, yes.
He was such a trooper.
Yeah, because and my profession, there's a large group of men that all know each other.
Oh yeah, I forgot. And he
was
knew
there with
you.
He knew me because of his friends, and I felt bad. Well, it was weird because she came up to me and I didn't think of anything of it. And what's funny is a friend of mine who his wife, who actually follows us, his wife said to me, she goes, do you know her? I'm like, I think she's a parent at the school where the boys go. She's like, she was hitting on you. And I'm like, was she really? And then she's like, yeah, she really was hitting on you. And I'm like, I don't think she was. And everybody there was like, yeah, dude, it was very obvious. So she made the first move, came to me, and ultimately tried to, I don't know what she tried to do. She tried to seduce me or what, but she was on a date and I felt bad. But yeah, so she did that. So this is something I always did, and I tell this every time I tell a story, is I always got off of Facebook for Lent. And when this happened, when she saw me out, it was probably like February. It's like February. And
Yeah, it had to be.
yeah, it was February of 2016. So I got off of Facebook for Lent, and then I got back on. I actually went further than Lent. I think I kept it till August because I just didn't care. So I got back on Facebook and I saw like people you may know. Because prior to getting off of Facebook, after I saw her that night, I tried to find out what her name was. So I was like doing a little of my own research, and I couldn't find it because we had no mutual friends. It was very weird. So she shows up as people you may know. So I was sat there and looked at that for, I don't know, maybe a week or two. And I was like, oh, I'll friend her.
He slid into my DMs.
I'll friend her first, and then I will start up a conversation, because that's how you do it in the 2020s. So it's actually 2016.
It was 2016.
2016. So I actually brought up a conversation about where her son was going to school, because he wasn't going to school in the district. He was going to a private school. And I was like, oh, how do you like it there?
He asked about the school systems.
hold
Meanwhile,
on.
meanwhile he works. He works in the town we live in, and he also grew up here, went to all the school systems. I'm not from around down here.
I lived in this town since 1995. I knew everything.
And he starts asking me about all
and it was a Catholic school, and that's where I made my confirmation, my communion. So I knew everything about the school. And
then he kept dropping like, oh yeah, me and my ex are trying to decide where the kids should go. And I was just like,
I was making it known that I was no longer married.
Yeah.
So, and it worked. I mean, like the next day she was, maybe a couple of days.
No, we talked for a while. I feel like we just messaged back and forth for a while.
Yeah. And then you sent me your Snap, and then you would send me stupid stuff. Never anything inappropriate.
No, it wasn't.
I know. I'm saying it was never anything inappropriate. It was always just like stupid stuff.
And then at the time I worked in the hair salon.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like telling my clients about him, because I was just like, he was the first guy. Like, I went through a rough year. Like, after my ex, not even anything to do with him. I just think I was at a low point in my life. It wasn't anything to do with him. I was at a low point in my life. I came from such a toxic relationship, and I was just torn. And like, I didn't like anyone else. Like I felt like I needed to date someone to be happy, because I was always.
You needed it for your identity.
Yeah. I was in relationship after relationship, and I didn't really I feel like that year was probably my longest break of like not being with someone.
Yeah.
And so Dave was the first one, because guys would ask me out, I would go out, and then I would just like never talk to them again. I just like never felt a connection.
Lucky me.
A connection. Like, it was just like, I was just like, like that we're either friends, or like I never even want to look at this person again. And there was nothing against, like, I have to say I was pretty lucky with all the guys I went out with. They were all decent. Like, they were all nice. And then when I met Dave, he was the first person that I like couldn't wait like to talk to. I was so excited, and to like see his message, and just like flowed so easily. So one day I was telling the girls I worked with at the salon, I'm like, I don't really know this guy. And
what else did you tell him? He's not that cute. That's how.
So my normal type.
Yeah.
If I had to like pick a normal type that in the past.
Yeah. No, go on.
It's normally like
your type is.
It's normally darker features. It's normally dark hair, tan skin, dark eyes.
I am not any of those things.
Those kind of features. I've never like went out and saw like a guy with blonde hair, blue eyes, and been like, ooh, like it's just not really my type. Although Kevin James is one of my celebrity crushes.
And he has blonde hair with blue eyes.
Yeah. But like going out, it was just not normally my type. And Dave's also bald. So I don't know why I felt
bald.
Like I felt like at work I had to tell people like, I'm like, but he is bald, because there's a stigma.
No, there's not.
Yeah, there is. People are
in insecure people. There may be a stigma, but not.
But I feel like that's always a joke between people. Like, oh, he's bald now, which I don't know why. Because Jason Statham, he is a good-looking guy.
Yeah,
and you're a great-looking guy. but I wasn't initially like, I felt like I had to give people, I don't know, my friends when
I
I
never
was showing,
trust you.
my friends were just judgmental.
I don't care about your friends.
I know. So, and then like I had to tell them, I'm like, he was recently divorced, or he was like going through, they were separated for a while. They were just went through the divorce process. So, like,
Yeah, papers weren't even signed yet.
yeah, I was like very nervous to tell people that. And literally all my friends were like, red flag, stay away. Like, we know you, Janie, you're a stage 5 clinger. Like, I wanted a relationship to be married. So one day at work, I was like, you know what? Screw it. Like, he was messaging me and I was like, are you going to ask me to hang out or not? And he was like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, let's get together. And I was like, how about now? Come pick me up from work
Pick me up
right now.
and take me to Starbucks. And that's what I did. It was such a crappy day out.
Wait, but you have no idea beforehand how nervous I was. Like, I was, because I worked in the salon. So I was in the mirror, like doing my makeup, fluffing. I was trying to get my big hair, like fluffing up my hair.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what I loved.
And I was so nervous. Yeah. And it was a rainy day.
It was like a crappy day. And we went to Starbucks probably for about 2 hours.
Yeah.
We were there for about 2 hours just talking.
And it felt so comfortable.
Yeah.
Like right away, it felt like I've known him. Like, it was just like the most comfortable I've been in a long time. And I didn't want to leave.
No. Mm-mm.
And then
we both had to go get our kids though.
Yeah. Yeah. He dropped me off at home.
Yeah.
And then that night, did I ask you to come back over that night?
Was it that night? I think it was that night because that's the night I gave you the socks. The high socks.
Oh, yeah. I always used to wear shorts with high socks.
Yep. It was great. Oh, I missed
I always wear that because my feet would get cold, but I always wanted to wear shorts.
Can you go back to that?
I can. Yeah, so I asked him to I was doing a school project for my son's school because I wait till last minute, and it was like class mom at the time. And like, what a train wreck. I'm single. My life's falling apart. My son's going to Catholic school and I'm a train wreck, and I signed up to be class mom.
It was so good to watch from the outside. I enjoyed every minute of it.
And I was such a bad crafter. And I remember I had like poster boards and letters all over the floor. My son fell asleep and he was working the night shift that night. Were you working?
Yeah, I believe I was.
And I was just like, hey, do you want to like stop by? And he came over because I was like, I don't know. I wanted to see him again. And he stopped by for like a couple of minutes.
Yeah, it wasn't much.
And left. And just like, I thought he was going to kiss me when he left. Like,
nope.
And did I call you out on it?
No, well, not that night. It was the next night you did.
Yeah, then the next night, like once we went to Starbucks, we were together every day after that.
Yeah. So that night I came over and she was like sitting on the couch, and in her living room at the time, she had a chair that was like right next to the couch.
Yeah.
So I sat in the chair because I didn't want to be too forward. I mean, I just like really hung out with the girl. Like, she was sitting on the couch, I was sitting on the chair, and I was just trying to be respectful because that's the man my mother raised. So I, like stayed back. And we just talked, and, I gave her these socks that I had. I bought like a fresh pair of socks, and they were like high socks. So I gave them to her and she loved them. And then the next day we went over. I think I was off that night because I think we watched a movie. We like waited till Peter went to bed, and then we watched a movie. And you're like, are you going to kiss me or what? And I was like, I'm just looking for a friend, but if you want me to, like, she kissed me. I didn't kiss her.
You. I did not kiss you first.
Jane, you kissed me first.
I said that, but I didn't kiss you first.
You kissed me first.
No, you kissed me first.
The fact that you can lie like this is so bad. You kissed me first. You made the first move. You did.
That's a lie.
Which is great because I'm just this hot commodity. You made the first move.
That's a lie.
I didn't do shit.
That's a lie. But
no, it's not a lie. It's that is the truth. And the truth shall set you free.
I was like, and after that, I was just clung on. Like, I was just like, you are mine now. Like, you are.
She's in love. I didn't even do anything yet.
But you said, I love you first.
I did say I love you first.
By accident.
It was by accident.
I remember because then it was like exactly a year later, I had a Super Bowl party. I remember
exactly how I did it too. I said, come here, my love. And you're like, what?
I was like, oh. No, I was like, oh my God, you love me.
Yeah.
And I pulled my best friend, Amanda, and I was like, Amanda, he just told me he loved me. And she was just like.
That's how it happened.
Didn't you just meet him like a month ago, Janie? Calm down.
That's how it happened. I said, come here, my love. And she's like, you love me?
I specifically had a Super Bowl party just so I can invite you. Like, I didn't care.
No, you're not a football fan. To this day, you're still not a football fan.
I was just like, I don't care. Like, just have to figure out a way to get this guy in my house and make him love me.
And it worked.
It worked. And then I was just like, I said to him, I was like, listen, you're my boyfriend now. Like, we're in a relationship.
Yeah.
And he was just like, after
It's not even like she said it like that. She's like, we're exclusive. I'm like, oh, we are? Oh,
And-
that's news to me. I didn't even know we were dating. She's
And
like, no, we're exclusive.
Yeah. And I pretty much forced him
She forced me into a relationship.
One night when we were out at Broadway, a local bar.
Yes, at the
And
local
I
watering hole.
I was like, finally, he said we're like boyfriend, girlfriend. He called me the next day. Do you remember this?
I do.
Broke up with me.
I broke up with her.
I was hysterical. You would have think we were together for like years on end. I was so upset.
Do you remember what day it was?
No, New Year's.
New Year's. I asked you on New Year's.
Yeah. It was
And then I broke up with you the next day.
Yeah. I hate New Year's. I hate it. And I was just like, I was so upset.
Oh, she was heartbroken.
And so me and my girlfriend.
Because at this point, we'd have been physical. So you'd already know.
Okay, honey. Okay.
You already know.
So me and my girlfriend was like, I want to go to Atlanta, Georgia. And I was like, yes, girls trip. Let's Atlanta, Georgia. Like, I don't know. We did no research. We did not realize we're from New Jersey. There's a place called Newark that is not a safe area. Certain places in Atlanta, Georgia, the area we went was not a safe area. Like, we were like, okay, let's book this. She booked an Airbnb. And we did not do research. We get there. First off, as soon as we arrived to our Airbnb, the owner of it is like, hey guys, you can't stand on the porch because there's been a lot of drive-bys lately of like shootings. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God. And then we were like, we're going to go out. So we went to a liquor store like that was close by to get alcohol. And they had like, you had to walk through these like glass windows to like get to, it was like really scary.
It was sketchy as shit.
And then too, I don't even know if I told you this, but in the Airbnb we had a room and there was a bathroom, and the bathroom was connected to another room that a guy was staying at. So we had to
a shared bathroom.
Yeah. Oh, I did tell you about that. And I was just like, Amanda. And now my best friend, she has this little blonde-haired, blue-eyed thing, like, and she's like, I'm just so excited to party. And I'm like, this is not safe.
Didn't you guys go to Atlanta Falcons game?
Well, yeah, that was the year they made it to the Super Bowl. Or they were in the playoffs. It was a playoff game, and it just so happened to be that we were there, and it was the game before the Super Bowl. So we went to we never made it into the game.
No, you made it to the parking lot. I remember that.
The tailgate. But so I wanted to pretend like I was having the best time ever since he just broke up with me. Yep. And I was miserable. Like, my friend, she hated me. I was just like crying in the room. I didn't want to do anything. But then we would go out and I'd be on Snapchat like, oh, I'm having so much fun.
She FaceTimed me in the middle of a bar on the dance floor with like 6 guys around her. And I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And she's like, I'm just having fun. And I'm just like, okay, well, okay, bye. And then I went out to the bar because I didn't want to deal with that nonsense.
And then when I ended up coming home, the day I came home that night, it was late at night.
Yup.
Dave was waiting for me at my doorstep with flowers.
With flowers. I was waiting there with flowers.
And he said he couldn't live without me.
I couldn't live without her. I loved her. And that we were boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yep.
So and every goddamn day since.
And then 6 months.
Never went that night.
And then 6 months later.
No, it was not 6 months later.
It was.
It was August of that year. It was August.
7 months later, you proposed.
7 months later. Yes, 7 months later, I proposed.
So it all worked out.
So
the motto of this story is
persistence.
Be a stage 5 clinger. If they're right for you and you're a stage 5 clinger, it won't push them away. Dave loves the crazy.
I do. I actually love the crazy in her. She knows it too.
And lay it all on the line. Like, I told him from day one, I was like, I'm looking for a relationship. I'm not looking for a hookup. I'm looking to be exclusive.
I was looking for the total opposite.
And I was like, listen, buddy, I want to get married. I want to have kids. Like, this is what I want. And he's like, whoa, I'm never getting married again. I'm not having any more kids.
I was lined up for a vasectomy. I was ready to go. I was like, I'm going to live my life in my 30s like the man that I should. And nope, here I am. I'm doing TikToks with my wife in the kitchen, getting eggs cracked on my fucking head.
Best thing never happened to you. But I think we should wrap this up here and do the Q&A in the next one
Okay.
because I didn't realize how long this got. So stay tuned for part 2.
Part 2.
We'll film it right after this. We'll just break it up and we'll do all your Q&A.
All right.